Man, every time. You were on the big screen that time, Jeff. You
That's
were
right.
right in
Last
front.
last time I was on, Doc made fun of me because I wasn't dancing.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
was, but I wasn't dancing enough, I guess.
He
came in
was dancing
strong.
on the inside. We
That's
Yeah,
what
need
it
you to
was.
dance on the outside.
You
yeah, you
got it.
came in strong that one.
That's
And
right.
and he
That's
had
right.
you on the big screen right there in
Uh-huh.
front.
And then he took me to the small screen. I must have been a bad dancer.
How about them Bears?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Welcome, Jeff. Hadn't seen you in a while. What have you been
Yeah.
doing? Coaching soccer?
Nothing. just,
Just hanging out.
no, just coach. Season started, so just coaching. Yeah,
Yeah.
last week couldn't be on. I heard it was great, but I was in the middle of a training session, trying to figure out how to win games.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
yeah,
How's that
yeah.
going for you?
It's going well. It's going well. We got a good group, so we're
Yeah.
excited about where we're at. If we can keep the ball out of the net, I think we'll put the ball in the net plenty of times. So we'll
There we
see.
go. I like
Yeah,
it. I like it.
yeah.
All right, Doc, we're back tonight. We were here last night. We were here last week. So thank you again for being on. Hey, we're going to talk collaboration. So I had put something out to our membership base and said, what do you want to hear? And so last week they said they wanted to hear about strategy. So we put things out about strategy last week, and that was what the call was, showing how we do strategy calls and how we take those strategy calls and we turn them into execution inside of the Convene community. And we talked about some of the things that make us different. Well, this week we're going to talk about collaboration and how that makes us different.
I gotta stop you. You're
Yeah.
saying it wrong.
Matt,
Collaboration.
come on,
Collaboration.
come on, man. It's collaboration.
Yeah, that's right. I say collaboration, like, I'm from the South. So come on, man.
You
Not
Southern
wrong.
boys.
All right. So let's talk about this. This is it's important. And from what we're doing with Inside of Convene, I think this is our differentiator
Hmm.
from other platforms. And Jeff, I'll just jump right to you and say why is that our differentiator in your mind?
Well, for a couple different reasons, and I'm sure I'll hit on some more of them later. But one of the biggest reasons to me is it you go to other platforms, whether you're just on a social media platform just to kind of scroll and look at stuff, or you're on another platform that might be similar to ours or a learning platform. And most of them that I've seen, if not all of them that I've seen, there's very little collaboration. You could maybe join a group of similar likes. Maybe if I like camping, I'm in a camping group or something, right? But you can make comments back and forth to each other, but there really isn't any collaboration. It's more competition in the way I see it.
Yep.
Hey, here's our group with our people in it. Don't worry about all the other groups and all the other people in it. And then really in those groups, it's just kind of the people making comments.
Yep.
Here's a post, here's something, maybe here's a little information, or hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. That's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
And I think I know we're different, um, because of all the different options we have to collaborate, not only on the platform, but kind of like we're doing now. And I know we're going to talk about videos and podcasting later, but like we're doing now, and then putting it back into the platform
Yeah.
so that we can have discussions and conversations and learning opportunities and everything with the members, and not only our group but in our community. So I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many to mention. Like I said, I'm sure we'll get into plenty of it throughout the next hour.
Yeah, and I'll say, if you go to the other learning management systems out there, the other platforms, a lot of those you're in a silo by yourself. And
Yeah.
communities, we'll talk about communities here, but you're in a silo by yourself if you're on the other platform. What do I mean by that? That means I create my content and I create my URL, and I'm over here, and it's up to me to do everything, to grow everything, to bring my membership base in there.
Hmm.
And so that's good. So I'm going to get that one way conversation. I'm going to get that one way communication where I'm in receive mode of your syllabus or your 10-step course on how to do whatever it is that you're trying to teach people. But I'm only going to receive it. I'm not actually collaborating with the community owner or the group owner or the other members that are inside
Right.
of that group.
Right.
So inside of Convene, and we'll show it and we'll talk about it, is inside of Convene is your content is just one piece of it. We do discussion boards, we do blogs, we do other things. It's almost like we're trying to connect you to the other members. And I'll show that
Right.
with inside of a community, with inside of a group, because that's different. If I'm on some of the other learning management systems and you two guys are in the same group, I can't go to your profile and send you a friend request and link up with you. So we
Right.
do bring in some of those social aspects into our social media. Into our learning management system, where I don't think other people do that, and we want
Yeah.
people to grow,
Right.
And that's important.
Right. Well, and I think the other part, and looking at the, excuse me, the topic of the conversation, the topic of the podcast, growing a business with collaboration. And if you're starting out a business and you're not asking other people in just not only the business world, but also kind of in your niche, whatever your business, if you're not asking for their advice, good, bads, and indifference, if you're not reading about and learning from others, you're probably not going to find a lot of success early on.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
me, it's not only just the people in the groups or in the in your group, your members in your group, but it's also the people inside that specific community.
Correct.
Go ahead and look at other groups. Go ahead and reach out to other group leaders and see what they're doing. See what they're
Yeah.
doing well. I mean, that's a lot of the topics of our Monday night calls, isn't it?
And Amy just said it's not even growing professionally. We grow personally on Convene too, and that's
Correct. Yeah.
really, there's a lot of that. We're helping each other. You know, it's you see this a lot. Is like when I talk about these two words, the abundance versus scarcity mindset. So it is, we're here to help each other grow. And if I can help you grow, then I'm growing,
Mhm.
and that's really the key, because one of the cool things that you see is people come into Convene and they find their way to other communities. And we talk about a workflow coming through and all that. And so here we are, we're on a podcast with Doc. And so the idea behind that is, can I bring people in? Can I teach them how to do certain things to grow, no matter what their topic is? But one of the things that I believe that people can do, Doc, is do a podcast, right? And so it becomes, you go through strategy with me, and we talked about this last week. So strategy with me, and then you end up over here with Doc, and Doc helps you with your podcast and growing that. So it becomes
Yeah.
an important workflow, and that's part of the collaboration that can help each other grow. Because when Doc is helping people grow their podcasts and they're coming into Convene is grow
Co-
overall.
collaboration.
Yeah, exactly.
Doc, how many people are you helping host with through Convene?
Right now, Convene.
Right. Right.
Both the
2 shows
mental,
with Convene.
2 shows.
correct,
Yeah.
2 shows. We've got Renee, Renee Manfrey, going through Convene as well.
Mhm.
And then I do have another young lady that we're waiting on some equipment to get in for her, and then we're going to really get hot and heavy on
Let
that.
me guess, a microphone.
Yes,
Yeah.
amongst others. So that brings me to a great point. Up in the upper left-hand corner on your screen there, you'll see a donate button.
Tonight,
Uh,
all donations go to what, Doc?
Tonight, all donations go towards getting Jeffrey a microphone.
I have one right here. It's
And,
yellow. Talking into it.
and I am serious as a heart attack that I had.
Yeah, you did it.
Oh man, that right there, that is collaboration.
Oh, that's collaboration. Trying to help.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dedication.
Yeah, so all donations tonight go towards getting Jeff a microphone so he can do
So,
his sound better.
poor
Uh,
Jeff over here.
yeah, but
To,
look,
to
it's
the
true. It's part of the process. It's part of sending people to different places. It's thinking abundantly. Again, and when you're on other platforms, you're by yourself. You're growing your content. So,
Mhm.
Doc, if you are growing a podcast class, like we made a video today off of, talking about equipment. That was the topic of the day that we made videos for. If you were just teaching that on another platform, you're doing it by yourself. Here, we're doing it within Convene, and we're talking about, collaboration, and we're talking about, hey, can we push people as they come in? You know, use Renee, great example. Renee, comes in, he's creating a community. Well, he needs content. We'll go over to Doc, and from working with Doc, now you have content from a podcast, and that's, can put it inside of your community. That's key. You know, Another
Yeah.
thing that we talked about earlier today on our earlier meeting that we have one called the Convene Platform Professional. we talked about, community leaders, group leaders being able to come on live with you multiple times during whatever time they scheduled during the month to highlight their community. And you're doing it that through the Convene Facebook and the Convene platform. It's helping you grow. But yeah, that's a key thing, if we can help our members grow. So that again, what is that? Collaboration.
Collaboration. It could be marked as dedication.
Yeah. Dedication to growing your content,
And when we're done, we can go to lunch and have some onion.
Doc is in the Cajun mood tonight. All right. So, yeah, look, everything is pretty cool. So we're going to show a little bit. I'm going to share the platform. We're going to talk a little bit about, why are we different? Why are we a collaborative platform? And so y'all let me know if you're seeing my screen there.
Cleared hot.
All right. So I'm going to be over here looking at the screen. But this is the Convene platform, and we do things a little bit differently. It's a lot of it is this is your website, this is your information page, this is where you bring people in, and it's talking about who you are in your community. And I just happen to be sharing, the Convene community. So as people come in, you have your pages, like your menu pages, like on a website, and then we have groups. So I'll get back to groups here in just a minute. I'll get back to experiences just a minute, but a cool thing that we are able to do with inside of Convene, if I send something out to the whole community, I am sending it out to 3,671 people. 100% of the people get an email about it.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. No algorithms within Convene, nor will there ever be. You can see the discussion boards here, very important discussion boards around different topics about how to use Convene, things that are going on in Convene. Again, that is collaboration, and you can see that we do it two ways. Our members, your members, if you're inside of a group, other members, they have the ability to put stuff in here. Amy just made a comment, but this was a great thing, is sharing your strategies. If you go into that, she's asking, what are people doing to share your to share your community, to share your content? And people can come in and give her their thoughts and ideas. We're here to help each other, again, to collaborate and really work through that with people.
And that goes back to the, if you're going to grow a business, if you're going to do anything, and you're not seeking other people's advice that have been successful in it, then you're not doing it right.
Absolutely. And everybody here within Convene is here to help each other. That's really what's pretty cool about it. So, you have that. We have a blog feature where people put blogs in, and I really try to push and promote. Look at that. Look at that. That was
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Come on. Look at that. We're talking about podcasting on that. So I came in and did that, but it's not just all about me. You'll see as we come down here real quick, we have Brenda Warren, who is, taking a podcast. We have contributors. So again, in your groups and in your communities, you have people pitching in, you have collaborators, you have people. So it's not just about me because I own this community writing stuff in there. It's about other people coming in. And that's, again, trying to promote each other. Brenda has this community, and we're talking about mental health protocols and stuff on this one, but then people can come in and respond, to. So it's a wonderful thing. That collaboration becomes very important. So that's good. I wanted to touch on this one. We talked about this. This is go ahead, Doc. You have something?
That guy would have made a great hand model.
Yeah. Yeah. This is important, right? This is the membership. So, if you're looking out and you're thinking about LinkedIn, and I'm going to go up on LinkedIn here in just a few minutes and talk about something. But if you're looking at LinkedIn, this becomes, how do you connect with people? So we'll just click on Jeff. I can view your profile, Jeff. I can, send you a friend request, which I already have, and this is you and about you and your family. Again, and so now people are seeing it, and that's important. And then you have all your other social media links, and then you have the people that you're friends with here. And so now it's networking. And Doc, we talked about that in your community about, what's the ultimate goal about the podcasting community coming up, about helping people get guests. Talk about that.
Yeah. So some of you that are on Facebook have probably maybe seen that need a guest page where a lot of folks go to, and that's a great resource. But what we want to try to do here is we're going to build our own networking resource for podcasting and guests and the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah,
we want to make it a one-stop shop.
yeah. Absolutely. And so, we already have a good start. I'll go over to your community actually, but we already have a good start inside of your community when we talk about groups and podcasts. So you have a group here where you're teaching people how to podcast for basics. We're growing that out. This is your media group, Admiral Media Group, and then
Mhm.
we have these podcasts that are already in there. So we're growing podcast out pretty quick, which is pretty cool. That we already have that many podcasts, and we haven't even really gotten started yet. But
Right.
what happens when we have 64 members in there? But what happens when you're coming in and you're posting out an announcement about needing a guest on the Convene podcast? Or
Right.
needing a guest on Nothing's Off the Table, and people can
Right.
respond to it that they're interested and all that.
Well, hey,
So
since we're in here and we talked a little bit about podcasting a couple of minutes ago, why don't we talk about the different ways you can actually use a podcast within the group to collaborate or to help educate, the members or the members educating you. My thoughts on it, at least one of the thoughts anyway, is if we have this podcast and we put it in our podcast group, now the members can rewatch it, either
right.
here or go to our YouTube page, whatever, right? But they can do more than just watch it, right?
Yeah,
Um, you know,
absolutely.
yeah. So they
Absolutely.
could now, instead of just clicking it, watching it, you make a comment. Sure, you can do that just about anywhere, but now it's more of questions back and forth. There you go.
Yeah,
Why
so
you
we can
pull
look
that
at
one up? Yep.
Josh's here, the Thrivecast, and this is
Yep.
about mental health. You can see all the topics that Josh uses for mental health. He has 42 episodes of this podcast. And so now if you missed it or come in here and you see a topic that you're interested in, you can see all the different topics and I can go pick and choose what I want to look at. Well, the cool thing about it is if I come in and I'm part of it, like I'll pick this one, parenting and dating. Now you have questions and people can come in and collaborate and ask questions, and make their comments about it. So it's, most podcasts are one-on-one communication or, you're in receive mode. Well,
Hmm.
in this one, you come in and you can actually, put stuff out there and people can actually interact with you
Right.
or the person
Right.
that did the podcast. And that's
Yeah, and I think that's a huge component of it is to be able to actually communicate with, talk to, ask questions of the host, the podcasters,
correct.
right? You can't always do that. You can maybe type in comments, obviously, on podcasts, or if you have the ability to call in, you can do that. But not too many people do that much anymore. So now, or maybe they don't have the time, you go back, rewatch it. Now you're doing all that same sort of thing, and then the podcaster keeps up with it back and forth.
Yeah.
One of the ideas, the other ideas, and the one I want to get off the ground here, excuse me, after this spring when my time frees up a little bit is a podcast within the soccer community, and
Yeah.
all about not only collaborating but also educating. Whereas me as the host and someone that's coached soccer my entire life at different levels, I'll bring someone in, like I don't know, a state youth coach of the year,
Wow. Do you
award
know
winner.
somebody who was the state youth coach of the year for North Carolina?
I do know somebody.
You know anybody that has a plaque that says they were the
Oh,
state?
oh, I,
Oh
I wasn't
boy.
I wasn't talking about you, man. I was
Oh,
talking
you
about
weren't?
someone else. So, but no, so I bring another coach in, and my idea is 30 minutes, 45 minutes, no more than an hour, but bring you in. We have a topic of, I don't know, serving balls from out wide,
Yeah.
right? And it's all about designing a training session. So we have the members that are listening to the podcast, and maybe I, choose two beforehand and say, I'm going to come to you. So you then start, say, Matt, how would you start your training session? And you
Yeah.
give your idea how you'd start it. And then I'd stop and I'd say, okay, well, Steve and Susie, how would you progress the training session? And they'd give their ideas. And I'd say, okay, Matt, well, how did you progress your training session? And you do the middle part of it. And we go all the way through it. And, not only have that collaboration during the podcast, but now it's living somewhere and it's not
Absolutely.
just sitting there for people to watch. People, coaches come in and start looking at it, they watch it. They also get your um, planning, or excuse me, practice session design and the document section. They have it. Now they also heard a couple other coaches how they would change it. And then just going back and forth. And either myself, I would answer the questions or go back and forth with them. maybe you're now a part of the group. Obviously, you can do that too. So,
Sure,
you know,
absolutely.
that collaboration, I think, to me anyway, that's just another example of how you can use the podcasts within the groups.
Absolutely, and that's what's key, and you see the Convene podcast group right here, and what we're doing right now is we're making content that goes into that group. We're making experiences every Wednesday night. We do the I got to put the wellness podcast. I got to get that in here, but we're doing that wellness call every Tuesday night. If you missed it, they'll be in there, and so you can come back in and watch these podcasts, interact with these podcasts. Well, here's another key thing that I can do is last night, special guest, Patty Muller. Patty Muller is a member of Convene. So it was me, Patty Muller, and Doc. Well, I can have co-host or co-authors of that
Hmm.
experience. And so now, the star of the show was Patty Muller last night. So as people come in and they interact with that experience, Patty Muller's getting a notification that said somebody just took the experience because that's who they want to talk to. That's who they
Hmm.
might have questions for.
Right.
And so as you're bringing in your special guest, you're saying, "Hey, come over in to Convene,
Right.
join, and then I'll make you a co-host on the or co-author, excuse me, on this." And now they're part of it. And then ultimately, as you're growing your community or growing your group, ultimately, hopefully they'll see what you're doing in Convene and like it, and then
Yeah.
come in and create a group around whatever it is that their topic is. And
Right.
so that's the collaboration type of stuff that can really take hold. But the key thing is being able to have that podcast and being able to have the confidence to do the podcast. So, Doc, talk a little bit about that because that's what this whole course is: podcast basics for beginners. I know we're beating up on podcasts, but I just think it's one of the easiest ways to do it. And then for me, before I let you go, Doc, is like I use Doc to produce it. So I show up at 7:45. I do we do, we talked about it earlier today, what the show is
Sure.
going to be about and all that. But so we do some pre-show planning. Doc teaches all that, and then I show up and he produces it, and all of a sudden it's up on the my YouTube page. So, Doc,
Let's
go ahead.
uh let's not forget that not all podcasts are video. There are
Sure.
audio only
Yeah.
versions, and that's
Hmm.
where this community
That's a
is
good point.
perfect for that. You're not going to be able, you won't have the chance to ask a question in a group. So this is where you come into, and you can ask your question and you will get a response from the host or the
Yeah,
Yeah.
guest or whoever.
Yeah. That's
So
a
exactly.
great point. And on top of that, the host or the person that's putting the podcast out, well, it's their business, right? And so, like YouTube, we could put videos up, and we've all read or at least gone through and seen all the comments. But how many times does the host, the owner, the business owner, reply back to those comments? Almost never. Well, in
right.
here, it's your business. It's your
Yeah,
main business. It's your side business. So yes, you're going to be motivated to respond back to people's comments and questions.
yeah.
For the record, I respond to every comment on my YouTube channel. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Well, good for you because I don't see too many that do. So
Yeah.
way to go.
There's not a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool because again, you got Dr. Mel that has a podcast. You have Jody Watkins that has a podcast. Doc has a podcast. Josh has a podcast. Doc has two. And then you got Renee that's coming in creating his community. So eventually, this is going to be filled up with podcasts, and that leads to other communities. You connect in here, you go to your other communities, and that's where you grow in there, which is really really
Oh,
cool.
sorry, Brenda. Sorry, just say
Yeah,
Brenda.
Brenda hopefully will be
Right,
on,
right,
and we need
right.
to get her podcast
It's
on here because she does a great podcast, so we need to get that in here.
And I know there's a Teacher Tribe podcast
Yeah,
that's being
Teacher
talked
Tribe
about in the
podcast that needs to be
works.
coming, and it's better be in the works.
Yep.
But
Yep.
and
that's the key is going out. I love, to be honest, the goal of, I'll give you two things. The goal of the Convene Communities podcast is to take people who are doing great things inside of Convene. I see Mike watching. He has a new group called AI Cowboy. So it talks about AI. So the
Hmm.
goal is to bring people inside of this podcast that are doing great things in here, inside of Convene. And then bring the guest on. But the goal, what I love about the wellness podcast is they don't necessarily have to be a member of Convene or creating a group in Convene. Doc will admit he's on there every podcast with me. We've had some amazing guests over the last couple of weeks that bring these amazing stories and the amazing things that they're doing. Well, they're contributors into our community and into our content, and they're spreading good knowledge. Last night Patty Muller talking about the Cortina method. We had Matthew Seaman a couple weeks ago that was just he has an amazing story. Next week we have paramedics and bikers. Lady named Tara Tucker and this gentleman they have a biker organization, how they're working together with people with trauma and stuff like that. So we're
That's
doing
great.
great things, but any community can do that. Amy
Yeah.
Krause.
Are they bringing their training wheels
They
next
might.
week?
They might.
Cool.
So it's
You'll
actually
need
pretty
them.
cool. Yeah. So last thing, in the communities, we have documents, obviously, and again, two types of communities. There's so much to it. I'll stop sharing and come back over, but there's so much to what we do that's different, but it's personal. You break it down into groups like what we're talking about. You have the big podcasting community, and then you have your individual groups. Well, if I
Yeah.
go into Dr. Mel's podcast, then I'm actually connecting with Dr. Mel and her sister, and I can ask them questions. They're the experts. They're the people that you want to connect with. Where if I'm on another platform, I don't get to connect with that person. I don't get to ask the expert the question. If I have a question about, again, we're using podcasting as the example, but it's a great example. If I have a question about equipment, like if I have a question about microphones, which microphone do I buy so my
Oh, we need
sound
a
is good?
microphone. Who needs a
And I
microphone?
can ask Doc, who's the expert, about, which microphone to
Got a
use.
microphone right here. How's this? Is this better?
Speaking of microphones, if you look in the top left corner, there's a donate QR code, and
Yeah,
all
donate.
donations tonight will be going towards Jeff's microphone.
Golly, I think my camera's about ready to turn off too.
It might. We can talk about cameras too.
One can only hope.
Oh, that's
That's funny.
hilarious.
That's the best you've looked all night. Jeez.
um, so another
Uh,
thing I wanted to talk about and show you is speaking of Brenda Warren. Um, she does a lot of great things. So one of the things that we do out in Convene is we can share out to other social media platform. When people click on that link, they come back in. But I wanted to show a blog that Brenda posted in Convene, but also posted out and wrote it in LinkedIn. But it's actually,
that's mine.
yeah.
Dogs are welcome.
Dogs.
So this is an article that blog that Brenda posted out in LinkedIn, and I think it's pretty cool. And it hit the point: stay connected, navigating social media downtime. Right. So everybody may have recognized yesterday that other social media went down. Well, Convene was not down. We had no downtime and all that. And so Brenda wrote this out on LinkedIn, but this is what I want you to notice is if I click on this link, it's going to take me back to Convene. She talks about other platforms, Flowdesk, other things that she's using. And then she's talking about Convene again. And she's talking about her community. And then she's talking about her group in the portal. So she's linking back to Convene using her referral link. So if anybody looks at this and goes through it, then it helps, bringing people back into,
Right.
into her group, into her community. Will we ever be as big as LinkedIn? No. You never know. But the point is
Yes.
that you're leveraging other things out there and you're growing and just leveraging other platforms. And it's,
Right.
again, that's part of the collaboration
Right.
and
Well, and I think
bringing
the
people
other,
back to a more intimate space.
yeah, the other part that you sort of brought up there is that we're not saying come to Convene and only Convene.
Sure.
Right. You use other platforms, but especially use other tools. Use other companies' tools. We use Canva a lot for our images.
Yeah.
Right. Use other sort of video in Doc, you were saying non-video services to put our content out there, right? Make it look a little bit better here and there. So, plan being down the road as we start to integrate that into our platform, those sort of tools. But, to me, that's a bit of collaboration too. Don't be afraid to use some other, tools that are going to help you with your content and grow and
Yeah.
use it here.
Yeah. I like,
Utilize all of your resources.
That's right.
absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. Always.
Resources.
Always, I mean, that's again, look where we're streaming. Where is everybody watching it right now? I mean, we're streaming mostly the people who watch through our Facebook page, either our
Hmm.
personal or our private page. And so again, you're leveraging social media and then trying to bring people back into that more intimate space that you have to grow your business and to sell your content if you have content. And it's not, let me say this, it's not all about selling your content. We have some good organizations and some good groups within inside of Convene. They're more about the social aspect, or I'd say people are here for their passion or a profit. They're more about, their passion. Why are you here? You can have a group that doesn't sell content, that is about whatever it is that your cause is, or whatever it is that you're passionate about. I always say that, for example, it's a great place for authors and book
Hmm.
clubs and all that.
Yeah.
There's nothing off the table. Look at that,
Right.
nothing off the table. You saw that?
Oh,
Nothing off
wow.
the table.
Uh,
There's nothing off the table that you can put inside of Convene. Look at that bubble that popped out. That's
wow.
really cool. Wow.
Well, and Kate's using it that way, right? With her Bible group slash the Bible's a book, right? So book club right now. She's using it quite well. We talked about it, I guess, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another way to collaborate with your members is, hey, here's the content, here's your reading, here's your whatever it is. We're going to then get on a Zoom call with the members, and we're going to discuss it, right?
Yeah,
And then again, then
I'm
it
glad you
lives
talked
inside
about that.
that group.
And before we get to Amy's question, we'll get right to that, Doc. But I'm glad you said that, because, again, one of the things that makes Convene different is a lot of, and we'll use Kate as the example. She has the group called the Midweek Pit Stop, and the Midweek Pit Stop, she puts out she's Bible study, the Bible,
Hmm.
book club is what it is, the biggest book ever written. Um, but what she does is she writes the experience and she puts it out to the members of her group on Sunday. And she has a live call at 12 o'clock on Wednesdays. So it gives the women that are part of that group the opportunity to go in on their own time, take that experience, watch the video that she adds in there talking about her side of it, putting the Bible verse in there, putting some other words of, what she's talking about or getting at. And then they get to answer the questions. So then what does the women do before they get on the call on Wednesday? They go back before they get on the call and they read everybody else's answers. And then they get on these calls and they have these amazing calls, where they're supporting each other on these amazing calls. That's a workflow. That, again, that's what makes it different. So, using Zoom, using other platforms, and all that, which is key. All right, Doc. Amy's question: how would you encourage new people who are considering a podcast but are nervous to get started?
The short answer is it's all in the podcasting basics for beginners. However, uh, the longer answer is um, don't suffer from, as we always say, paralysis by analysis, right? First thing you need to do is you need to find what your topic is, what your niche is, what do you want to talk about on your podcast? And then secondly, you need to discover what your target audience is. And then once you have those, that is that's your foundation for your podcast. Without that, you don't have a podcast. You just have rambling. Um, with that being said, uh, you have to go into the equipment and all that stuff. But there's several options. You can do all of this on your own, which requires a lot of work, a lot of knowledge, or you could go through a podcast producer. Someone like what I do for Matt and Convene here is they just show up. I do all the work, and all you do is talk about whatever you want to talk about. So I guess in a roundabout sort of way, you just if you're thinking about it, you gotta pull the trigger,
Yeah.
and you try it. And if it's for you, great. If it's not for you, well, that's okay too.
Yeah, a couple other things that are taught inside. You know what Doc's talking about is questioning, how to ask the proper questions, open-ended questions, how to, the podcast is not necessarily all about you. It's about your guest, or, it's having that communication going back and forth. So he teaches all that. He talks about all that. That becomes very important. I think that is just a great thing. The other thing is, don't be scared. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is, a lot of people are like, I don't like the way I look or the way I sound on video. Well, guess what? I'm telling you, what I see, on this one, just right here, is I see Jeff and I see Doc. That's y'all.
Mhm.
That's who I see. That's who I know, whether that's face to face or on the camera. And some
Right.
people get so uptight and so worried about, oh, what am I going to look like? What am I going to sound like? Or
Right.
I'm not going to know what I'm talking about. Um, and so they won't do it because they get so uptight about those things. Look, just do it and get out there and talk and do it. And you're gonna start and you're gonna get better and you're gonna get better. And it's free content. I have no shortage of people that will want to come on the podcast,
Right.
and especially the wellness podcast. I mean, I can book out. I book out like a month in advance, and it's just I just go out there and put it out there, and I'm not even out there as much as I can. I'm just hitting people that I know, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, they'll come on."
So
So
here's the deal. If you're that worried about how you're going to look on the podcast, do an audio only version.
Mm-hmm.
But I promise you this, the more you do it, the more that fear and that concern is just going to fall away. You're not going to
Right.
care.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. You just sort of, you understand that the people that are watching for the more than likely want to be there because they're interested in your topic.
yeah, that's
So
it.
you're talking to people that want to hear what you have to say. And two, like you said, Matt, you're just talking, if you know, two, three, four people on it, you're just talking to your friends,
Yeah,
right?
That's
You're just
right.
talking about a certain topic about your friends. So
yeah,
yeah.
Amy, did that answer your question? I
yeah.
hope it did. If
I
not,
think she was actually asking for a friend.
right, right, right.
Yeah. But the point is get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Again, it's Jeff, you and I have talked about it a lot, and yours is a time thing a little bit with coaching and school and all that. But I think that soccer podcast. So all jokes aside, is that I grew up being a baseball player, a football player, and a basketball player. I didn't play soccer, and then
Right.
along comes my son who's really into soccer and my daughters who are really into soccer, and I became because involved my kids, I became a coach.
Hmm.
I didn't have a clue of
Right.
how to coach soccer.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
even, to be honest, didn't even know the rules really of soccer. So I had to go out there and find those rules, find the videos on practice plans, find exactly what you're talking about. And there's so many people out there that don't coach at a college level like you
Right.
did, don't coach at a high school level, but are coaching at a youth level. And they're looking at how do
Yeah.
I do this?
Right.
So it's very relevant. And there's a lot of people that do great things. So, I'm excited about that because I think that there's no end to the guest that you're going to be able to get. No end
Yeah.
to it.
Well, and it's similar to me with volleyball. I didn't know anything about volleyball besides playing it in gym class, right?
Yeah,
And I could do the same exact thing with volleyball coaches. It
sure.
wouldn't be hard, right? You could do it in you could do it
Easy.
in really any area of life, to be honest. Yeah. So,
Well, if you're,
and
again, content creator,
yeah,
you're not gonna have any shortage of guests.
right,
No
Keep
right.
shortage.
keep in mind also that for those that are very busy, you don't necessarily have to do a live show, right? You can record several episodes up front and release them weekly, whatever
Yeah,
the case may be.
yeah,
So there's there's a bunch of excuses as to why not to do it, but that's all they are is excuses. It's easy, just pull the trigger.
Well, let's go back to that. It's not just about the podcast. It's about creating your
creating
content,
content. Yep,
creating your
yep,
group.
yep.
It's about starting a community. It's about, again, I beat up on this. The key word to this, and we'll get back off the podcast and get back to the communities.
Yeah.
The key word of this is you don't have to do 100% of the heavy lifting. You just
Mhm.
don't.
No.
Look at the concept of Convene. I used to just do this business to business. It was all on my shoulders, right? It was, can I go find a business? Can I sell them my speaking engagements, and can I sell them the platform to use? And it was good, very profitable. I had some big companies, Pacific Gas and Electric, Duke Energy, working with the Navy, the Marine Corps, hospitals, Duke University. It was a lot of work and I liked it. But now change the business model of Convene Communities. And now, Doc, you're growing a podcast community. Jeff, you're in multiple communities: soccer, the parenting, and the youth communities, and the teacher tribe. Amy, watching Teacher Tribe. We got multiple things. So now we're all collaborating to grow and help each other out and support each other.
Yeah.
Because you got Mike watching. I know nothing about using AI. He's the AI expert, and he's creating the AI cowboys. Let's go, Mike. AI cowboys,
Let's
right?
go. AI
And
cowboy.
he said, "Let's go," in the comments. I'm like, "Let's go for him." So it's pretty cool because now if people want to really start to leverage AI, we push them over there. That's collaboration. That's helping each other out. That's what sets us apart is we're pushing people where they belong. Doesn't matter what community you go. And that's a
Right.
cool thing too, is because people come in and then they go join another community and you don't even know where they went, what they're doing.
Well, let's take Amy's question and take podcasting out of it. So, Matt, how do you encourage new people who want to start a new business online or in communities and are nervous to get started? Well, I'll let you answer, but the first thing I'm going to say is similar to what Doc was saying about the podcasting is just put your inhibitions aside and do it,
Yeah.
right? Get a start on it. And then also know that we here at Convene Communities, not just the core team, but the core group of people we have right now that are very active and very passionate about it. So we're going to help you all the way through it. We're going to help you every step of the way.
100%. And it's cumulative. It's not, I've been at this for many years. So the content grows and the content grows. And I've been telling you this. It doesn't happen overnight. If you sit there and try to, just grind and grind and grind, that's what you're doing a couple weeks ago, Doc. You made a lot of content, you got the infrastructure and you got it all there. But then it's kind of like, oh man, I'm tired,
Yeah.
and so you got to slow down and you got to really pace it out and know that it's going to continue to grow. Where Doc's community is now is not where Doc's community is going to be in 1 year, is not where Doc's community is going to be in 2 years.
Right.
So, all right, little plug. Just got this from Mike. AI Cowboys. That's the group logo right there. There you go.
Whoop, whoop.
Plug right there. Let's go,
I
Mike.
think his slogan should be AIAIO.
Could be. That's pretty good.
Isn't
Wow.
that a cowboy thing? No, probably not.
That's a farmer thing.
Yeah.
Old
Oh,
McDonald.
Yeah.
shoot. Sorry, Mike. My bad.
Hey, you hear the saying a lot, no risk, no reward, right? Well, the great thing about Convene is there's no risk and it's all reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You can come in and do it for free. You don't have to spend a penny. Members are free.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend the members don't have to spend a penny. You only get into spending money is when you want to sell your content. And we keep it cheaper than anybody else out there. I saw a thing the other day where another platform, not saying anything, any names, kind of like Jabberwocky, but Kajabi. Their price, they have a special going on, right? But their special going on, you can create one group, one funnel, one landing page, one. Inside of Convene, you can create unlimited content. You never stop. There's no limit to what you can create, and that's
And
key.
you can come in for be a free user, create
That's
a
what I'm
free
saying. Free
group,
user.
and you
Your
can still
members are
make
free.
money.
Yeah, your members are free. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but
you don't have to create nothing because if you invite people to Convene, and they come in using your link and then they go over and pay Brenda Warren for a class or Eugene Brown for a trading stocks class or, you name it, join another paid group or paid doc to take one of his courses about podcasting and they're offering a referral fee, you're making money in your sleep.
Yep.
I would just like to point out Mike's last name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I bet you money.
Yeah.
I bet you money he knows how to say that collaboration
Yeah.
correctly.
If he was on here, he is for sure Cajun, you know.
Whoo!
He's from Louisiana down near New Orleans. I
You
don't know if
said it
I got
wrong.
that
It's
right.
Nolans.
He's laughing at you guys because you're saying it wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I think what we've created is pretty special. I think that people have to think differently inside of Convene. You have to think collaboration. When the teacher tribe is going to be huge is when there's a lot of teachers or a lot of administrators or a lot of people inside of that collaborating.
Mhm.
You know, one of the ways that we see it, like I told you, I was on before. We have what's called the Convene Platform Professional Call on Wednesday nights, and so we're on that. And there you are. You have some of the main people of Convene, and they're talking about what they're doing to succeed. So they're learning from each other. That's collaboration. So
Well,
we
and
want
they
each
want to
other to
share.
succeed. They want to share. They
They want
want
to
each other
share.
to
They
succeed.
want to see others succeed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So if you
Um,
think about that, those collaboration groups, when the teacher tribe's having its own collaboration group, when the soccer community's having its own collaboration group, when podcasting on collaboration group, then we're growing, you know?
what I love the most about Convene Communities is there is zero drama.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like Facebook or everyone here is here for wait for it,
Yeah.
a purpose.
Yeah.
See what I did
Platform
there?
with a
See what I
purpose. You
did?
see how you did that? That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's pretty
But
impressive.
so everyone is here to help everyone else grow. Because if I help you grow, that inevitably helps me grow, and it's
Right.
win-win.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's not the vibe. Drama's not the vibe with Convene, right? The,
Oh, it's
the
not.
the vibe is helping, learning, collaborating, right? It's not I'm better than you and I can do this better than you, or look at my awesome stuff and yours isn't as great. It's the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
Hey, I got good stuff, but Matt's got great stuff. You should go over and check his out too, right?
Yeah.
Um,
People are
and helping each other out.
they're genuinely happy on this platform when others succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Genuinely.
And
Hmm.
what I encourage, and there's nobody that will not do this. If you're new to Convene and you come in, you have a call with me, I'll say, hey, get on with Jeff, get on with Doc, get on with Lisa Herring, get on with, Amy, get on with whoever, the people who are out here succeeding and doing great things. And I'll say, get on and just talk to them. And I'll say, most importantly, the first question you have to ask them is, why are you in Convene? And it goes back to what Doc said. Well, it's a platform with a purpose. We're all here to help each other out. We're all here to
Right.
make a difference. And
Right.
and we are, Mike said it to me one day. He said, "Man, Convene is all about a bunch of goodness." And that's really what we are about. We're about
Yeah.
helping each other
Yep.
and
Well,
supporting.
and think about what we said just before, a couple minutes ago. Is you can be on here for free, spending absolutely zero money,
Yeah,
right? And we're fine with that. Like certainly as a company, we want to make money, and we know it's going to come, but we're not. That's not our sole purpose. And
correct.
I think people understand that right away when they come in to sit in on one or two of the calls, and it's not about making money. That's not the
Sure.
primary thing. It's about helping each other out. It's about growing our own group and community, but also then growing everybody else's community through that collaboration, right?
Yeah,
We can't do something well without another community's help, generally speaking.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
know it's so true. We need everybody to succeed. For us to succeed, we need everybody else to succeed. That becomes so important for us all to succeed. And I'm excited. We have a great team of IT folks that are rebuilding version 3.0, and it's going to be so much better.
mhm.
We have a great platform now, but it's going to be really, really cool what they're building and the ideas they have. These are a bunch of
Who's part of that
experts.
team? Who's
Well, that
part of
would
that team?
be Todd Bray, who's
Todd Bray.
good. We have
Yeah.
a gentleman named John Owens, who was a big part of Pandora Radio.
Yep.
We have Mike, who's the ringleader.
Let's
Who Yeah, let's
go.
go. If you're still watching, Mike, you need to hit that phone call and give us a call right now. We need to hear from you. Um,
In case you can't tell what the phone number is on the screen, it's my phone number. So
yeah, exactly. Um,
You
so,
lonely, Doc? You want some calls?
I
um,
get lonely.
and then we have a young man named Austin, who's going to be great. He's a rock star. He's very
Hmm.
smart. But what that I love is when they hear about what we're about. When they um, hold on. So let me.
Focus.
Yeah. Well, Mike's.
Focus.
We're going to get a call.
Oh, I thought maybe Chapel Hill lost or something.
No, if Chapel Hill lost, I'd be over crying. Big game on Saturday. Um, Big game on Saturday. It's Duke UNC, right? Hey, we beat them earlier this year. Look, but back
Yeah.
to the point.
Back to the
Collaboration.
point.
Collaboration is key. People are doing great things, and we're all here to help each other out. And if we
Yeah.
can help each other grow, then everybody's going to grow. The IT team is going to make some of those things very good, very simple, very the flow. Everything's getting better and better
Yeah.
and better.
Those are
You
going to
better
be
get
some.
in here early, or you're gonna,
Yeah,
you can
those
come
are
late.
good. Those are going to be such good upgrades. I mean, we've been talking about it for 6, 8, 9 months about the things that we want to see differently, and That those guys are going to just take it to the next level. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've got a call.
Caller, you're on the air.
oh.
Hey, what's going on, King?
Wait.
Hi,
Hey,
Mike. You're on the air.
Ooh-wee.
so listen, one of the topics of the
See what
night,
we got.
yeah, one of the topics of the night that Doc was talking about is he was talking about talking Cajun, and so we don't know
Oh,
anything
man.
about that. But where are you from?
Oh, I'm from the know ya. From the know ya.
My question to you, sir, is: do you cook with the onion and the garlic?
Oh, yeah. We call that the triple threat.
Yeah.
Little Tony Sachere in there.
Hey,
That's so rare.
hey, Mike, talk a little bit about you've been well. I want you to talk about a couple things real quick. Talk about one AI Cowboys, the group that you're creating, and the things you'll be teaching in there, because that's really exciting. Because this is, a lot of people need to understand that. But then also talk about this team that I have to thank you tremendously, because you've really helped put together this team of people that are going to create version 3.0. So whichever one you want to talk about first, but you got the floor.
Okay, first and foremost, hey, thanks for having me on, Doc. Thanks for accommodating Mr. Jeff. Man, I'm learning a lot about you, man. I like you, Jeff. I'm like, man, I didn't know that, so like every other word, man. And so I had to yield a little bit, man. I think you give me a little bit more credit than I deserve, man. I want to shout out to you, Matt, and Mr. Jeff and Todd as well, man. I appreciate the credit, man, but it's really you guys that have built something amazing and something that's changing lives, and just really happy to be a part of, man. It's just the more you dive into it, the more you're like, man, is this really real? And yeah, it is, man. Sometimes we get to piss at ourselves just to see if you're dreaming, man. But it's a phenomenal community. It's great to be a part of, and I'm just happy and excited, man, with where it's going to go and the leadership. And like I said, Mr. Jeff and Matt and Todd. I don't know if Todd's on, but man, just phenomenal. And the team y'all set up and y'all are putting together.
Yeah.
And this 3.0 is going to blow it out of the water, man. So it's amazing. I'm looking forward to things that are coming. But yeah, the AI Cowboys is something that I really came up with on a whim. But it ended up being kind of fun and catchy, and I got a new logo, so I'm pretty excited about it, man. I'll have to get that out there ASAP.
Yeah.
But
I showed it a minute ago. I showed it off the helmet.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So yeah, man, what we really wanted to do was just come in there and really provide, solutions to business owners,
Right.
entrepreneurs, really just anyone who wants to kind of automate their life in different aspects and areas. And we've created a gradual approach of learning that we can kind of put out there and help folks, kind of get through some things they may be dealing with, everything from creating blogs to, automating their calendar to, really anything, because, I have a couple businesses already. And as I've come to kind of sift through those, and, I call it baptism by fire, right? So as I've come to do that, I'm like, man, I've been like tossing this blog around in my head for like 3-4 days, and I really got to get this out. There's some people, I owe some blogs to, I owe some information to, et cetera, right? So it's really phenomenal. And then at the same time, you got a meeting, you got this, you got that, and so it's a phenomenal thing to be able to automate your life in the aspect of, you can set a calendar reminder, hey, write a blog, and you can just provide a list of topics, and they can select it at random, write the blog, text it to you while you're on the go. You can skim through it. It's in whatever format, whether it's APA or the 27 different styles of Chicago format. Don't ask me about that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mike, let me ask Mike. Let me ask you a question. So let me take everybody through what would potentially happen inside your group. We talk about collaboration. So you're talking about helping businesses and AI, using it with the businesses. Well, let me ask you this. In your group, I would probably type in, or I'd ask a question, or I start a discussion board. AI is a big deal in education now, for teachers, not only sort of to help teachers and help educators, but it's also kind of a detriment because kids are just plugging in topics and stuff and having papers written, right? So is AI Cowboys a group that can help educators?
So I would say yes, potentially. You know, that's the elephant in the room, right? So
Yeah.
there's a thing called singularity, right? So everyone always talks about what's the technological point of singularity, right? And to explain to everyone what that is the moment, the instance, the date, the time, the year, whatever the case may be, on where computers and human beings' intelligence are matched, right? So that's the point of singularity. It's a zero-sum game at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have my own thoughts and feelings on that, man. I'm going to leave that off the table for right now. But back to your question and the point, that's a great point, man. As of a day and a half ago, there's absolutely nothing out there that can detect any sort of GPT or AI or ML produced answer for a test. And if somebody says that there is, they're a liar. And you can tell them I said that. You can give them my number.
I'll tell you what there is. It's teacher intuition. This kid doesn't write like that.
Yeah.
So and that's a great point. And I mean, there's GPTs for that, to write like a third grader, or a fifth grader, an eighth grader.
Right.
But the thing people are doing now, a solution to that is, they're instilling, time limits to measure the average amount of time that it takes a certain education level, a certain age, for their cognitive understanding. And so that's kind of how education plays into it right now. I don't have the answer for that. I can absolutely build something for that. But I haven't yet. I have a few different side projects going on, but anyway, but yeah, I mean, so it's there to help, teachers, understand, hey, this is out there. And really, I hate to so I'm an old school guy, right? But I've understood over the years and having kids that keep me young, you kind of got to adapt to, modern times, man.
Yeah.
This ain't, the 70s, the 80s, when we had TVs to plug in and, an iPad, whenever I was young, was a freaking pad you put over your eye because, you got poked in the eye or something. Right now, it's like a thing. So, so to kind of get back to your point, man, there's not a problem with teachers understanding it's out there, embracing that it's out there, and then getting creative with the assignments. And, AI can help you with that too.
Right. Well, and that was part of my question, was just the example of what you could do inside of a group with Convene and the collaboration. You got one great topic, but it's a topic. AI is a topic all over the place. And, hey, I'm in your group. I need to ask a question. I need to ask the expert, right?
Well, I'll kind of wrap it up because we're coming up on the end of our time.
Matt, can I make one more point real quick?
Absolutely.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, so I do want to put this out there to anyone who might be listening. With artificial intelligence and machine learning and what's out there right now, I want everyone to know 100% that the only there's two limits to AI and ML. That's your imagination and, to a certain point, technology, right? We may not have the chips yet to be able to do some of the things that you can think of if you're a really imaginative person. So I do want to leave you with that. And if anyone has more questions, feel free to reach out.
Well, what this brings up to me, Mike, is we'll have you on the podcast in a couple weeks for this exact topic, and get your group up and going, and then you'll be the guest on the Wednesday night podcast, and we'll talk about it. This is a big part of what we're building in version 3.0. There will be AI built into the groups, into all different aspects, but then there'll be some aspects where we leave it out because we want that natural human interaction. And Mike and I have gone pretty deep talking about that.
Yeah.
So
that analog connection, it's vitally important.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome you called in, man. Yeah,
thanks for coming on. It's we're coming up on 9:00. We'll get you on the schedule and make you be a part of it. But dude, I appreciate you. I'm glad we've become good friends here recently.
That's right.
And looking forward to growing this thing with you. Wouldn't be able to do it without you. I appreciate you.
No, thanks for having me. Y'all guys have a blessed night.
All right, you
too.
too. All right. We're coming up on it. So, Doc, what's your last words for tonight?
AI. And collaboration.
Collaboration.
I was waiting for it.
Jeff, anything you want to end with? And then we'll close.
Doc said it all. Doc said everything I was going to say.
Collaboration. That's what makes Convene different. We're here to have a collaborate. We have connect, communicate, collaborate, and educate. That's what this site's all about. Bringing real life, real people, real experiences together. And that's why we want you here. We are a platform with a purpose. We're looking to involve everybody. Bring your expertise, bring your thoughts, and let's grow together. and let's go. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Night, everybody.
Good night.